What's up, guys? Farm Wrestler here, and today I'm going to give you an overview of the food plots I use and the mixes I use for those food plots and how I've got them set up and everything like that. It's the start of a new series on deer hunting habitat and the success that I've had with that over the last few years. So if you're interested in that, keep watching, and we'll see you on the other side. So this is the Egyptian wheat, and it will not be going in this mix. It happened a couple months ago for just general cover, screening, and I put it around all my food plots, and it allows the all the wildlife to feel very safe. You can have a vehicle drive by on the dirt roads, and when the deer used to scatter, they don't even care anymore. So it helps keep more stuff in the field. It gives you cover around the edge of the field. You can use it to help direct traffic if you plant it thick enough and wide enough, so that you can kind of steer animals to keep them on your property, or to get more opportunities for a harvest. So this is what I use for screening. I also use switchgrass, and I'm pretty tall, and it just doesn't seem to give me the same cover. I love it. It's perennial. It lasts forever if you take care of it, and I think the wildlife do like it, but it doesn't give me the same screening effect that the Egyptian wheat is. The Egyptian wheat will get, literally 12 feet tall, and it can conceal your movement into and out of different hunting locations, and I think it breaks up scent. You plant it heavy enough, it helps break up scent when you're walking in if the wind's not quite right on your walk in. So this is a workhorse for us. It's about $100 a bag, but a bag, we usually shoot for 15 to 20 pounds per acre, and we're just talking strips, which I'll show you in a little bit. And so I spend a couple $100 on this for all my food plots, and the results are amazing for deer, turkey, even rabbits and other game birds. It's really an awesome product. You do have to plant it every year, but it stays up really well, keeps up even during like some of the harsher winter conditions. If you've got like a snowstorm or an ice storm, a lot of times it'll pop back up. But what this alone can do for you is huge. So I would definitely try some Egyptian wheat around your food plot. Wheat is one of the parts of my blend. Seed is cheap. It'll be green all year. It's very easy to grow and puts out a lot of forage for the deer. So this is kind of the base of my, custom blend that I use. So I'm trying to offer things that not everyone in the area has. Everybody grows wheat or rye, and so I do use it, but I want to offer things to the deer that are different, that have more variety. I think it's good for the deer, and it's good for attracting more deer. I like the salad bar approach of giving them a whole bunch of different options and hopefully everything they need, so that I attract and hold deer that the neighbors can't. So I'm basically trying to create the best deer habitat, the best deer feed in the area, so that I attract the most and the best deer. So the next part of my blend is It's called a daikon radish. It's a tillage radish, and it gives the deer another option. It creates, you know, great big tubers that can, you know, penetrate the soil like up to 18 inches. I'll actually eat them sometimes. They're not the greatest, but they're something different to eat. You know, eat them kind of like a carrot. And they've got a little bit of spice to them, not a whole lot of other flavor, but they'll help loosen the soil too, and scavenge nutrients that are down deep. And then when the radish dies in the first, you know, really hard freeze, they've scavenged, you know, nutrients from down deep. They've hopefully broken up any kind of hard pan layer, and I feel like they're a valuable part of my feeding program, my food plot program. They don't cost much. I usually shoot for just 2 to 3 pounds per acre of these, and again, nobody in the area is using these. I'll actually, if I do early planted wheat for forage, I'll actually add 2 or 3 pounds per acre to my wheat fields, and I just think they're a great inexpensive addition to a program like this. So the next addition I use is the Austrian winter pea. I'll also plant these in my garden because they're great for building the soil. They're, you know, a nitrogen fixer as a legume, and it's deer candy for sure. So Austrian winter pea, that's my third part of my feeding program, my salad bar mix that I like to call, and the deer just love it. Hopefully they don't mow it all down before it really gets up and going. So the final part of my salad bar mix is the forage oats, which, you know, create a lot of early green in the fall. They might not make it all winter if we get like super long, hard, deep freezes, but I don't care about that. I care about the fall and early winter hunt. So that's the last part of the salad bar mix. So about every few hundred pounds, I use my trusty old 1x3 from who knows what, and I just give it a good stirring, a mixing, mix the salad bar together so I get a relatively even distribution throughout the field. So I just reach in here, dig deep, and start mixing. And do that for each bin. So we're set up here, just got started. This is my main food plot. I've pretty much dedicated this 12-acre field to wildlife habitat. It actually brings more income in that way, by way of hunting. You know, I have some paid hunters that come every year and some that come every couple of years, and also I get to hunt it and my kids get to hunt it, so that's an added benefit. But then this salad bar mix that I'm putting in, you know, the radishes will die out when it gets really cold, but the wheat and winter peas will they'll survive all year. I think winter peas are cold hardy down to like -20 or something like that, and so in the spring, after the spring turkey hunt's done, I'll actually bale this food plot and, you know, get somewhere in the neighborhood of 40 bales or so off of, there'll probably be 10 acres that I bale, because I have the Egyptian wheat, running around the perimeter up to probably about 26 feet deep. And then I've also got Egyptian wheat, dividing the field in certain areas. And so I'll probably only cut about 10 acres of hay off it, but it's great hay, that wheat pea mixture. If you can get it dried down, it's hard to find, probably takes about 7 days to get it dried down good in the spring like that. But if you can find that time span in there somewhere where you've got some dry sunny days, then it makes great hay that I like to use when I'm finishing cattle for butcher. Very high protein, just a lot of nutritional content there. So even though I've dedicated this area to hunting, it's not, I still get agricultural production off it. And the wildlife production of it has just been off the charts. I've had this place for, I think, 14 years now, and it used to be, if we saw a deer, we had meat in the freezer. It was just, very typical. In the last probably 5 years, I've started, learning more and managing it for the wildlife. And I don't shoot any small bucks anymore. I let them get big, and it's just been incredible what a little bit of management has done for this property. And it doesn't take much, guys, to create habitat that all wildlife flocks to. We've even got pheasant now, and we're actually a couple miles away from the legal designated pheasant hunting areas, but the turkey population has exploded, the deer population. The dove hunting is typically very good. I'm putting this plot in a couple weeks later. I usually do it before the dove season opener, but this year I just got a little busy, had a lot of things to do, and so I didn't get that aspect done. So the dove hunting was kind of the worst it's been, but the food wasn't here for them, so it's not the dove's fault, it's not anything's fault except mine. And then the Egyptian wheat is like a little bit behind schedule, even though I planted it earlier than normal. But it provides a food source with those seed pods, through the whole winter for all your game birds. And I've even seen the deer in there eating on those seed pods, even though Egyptian wheat is it's not sweet at all, so deer won't typically eat the actual biomass, if you will. But I have seen them in there going after the seed pods. So I'm telling you guys, Egyptian wheat around your food plots is a game changer. In this field in particular, I'd see a mature buck on the edge of the field. He comes to the edge of the field, he looks
into the field. He can see the whole field, sees there's no does out there, there's nobody home, and turns back in the woods and goes back to, well, probably somebody else's property that's got more deer. And with this Egyptian wheat, you know, he can't see more than 50 yards in any direction, so he comes to the edge of the field. Well, he can't see anything because there's Egyptian wheat, and so he's got to come through that Egyptian wheat and expose himself to see what's in the field. And then if he wants to see what's on the other side of the field, he's got to move through the field. And it's just been a game changer. I was never big into game cameras, but you know, there had been, you know, mature bucks on this place, but they were basically nocturnal, you know, or I'd be in a stand and I'd have, you know, a few deer under me, but that buck was still back in the woods. And it wasn't because the buck was inherently nocturnal. It was the buck was coming from so far away that he wasn't getting here until it was dark. And so I'll do another video on it at some point about bedding areas. But this Egyptian wheat has freed up a lot of bedding in the woods for bucks, because the does and fawns will typically bed closer to their food source than a mature buck will. And so, you know, before I started doing this Egyptian wheat and some of my other habitat improvements, we basically had does and fawns, you know, bedding in the woods over here, and bucks bedding, you know, 3/4 of a mile from here. And so this Egyptian wheat and some of the other improvements I've done have helped, you know, bed those does and fawns closer and freed up some of the bedding in the woods for the bucks. So I don't have a nocturnal buck problem anymore. I've got tons of cover. I can get to tree stands. I can get to hunting blinds, even when there's deer in this field, because of this Egyptian wheat. They can't see me, they can't smell me. I've got entrance and exit routes through there. And I'm telling you guys, do Egyptian wheat. And you don't need big fancy equipment. You don't need all this. I use a bag spreader on a bunch of my food plots because I can't get equipment in there. I mean, if you're doing 10 or 20 acres of stuff, which most guys probably aren't, you don't need equipment. You can knock that out really fast with a bag spreader. You're just going to want to increase your seed rates. You know, if you're on like some kind of tilled ground or broken ground, you know, you can spread it on top. I would just increase your seeding rates maybe 20-25%. And if you're on ground that hasn't been prepared at all, I'd mow it as short as you possibly can, and then increase your seeding rates, you know, probably 50%, and you're gonna get a stand of some kind. So there's just so many different things you can do to sweeten the pot for deer hunting, and it doesn't take big fancy farm equipment. I was probably drilling 500 acres of wheat with this drill, which I think I spent like $1,600 on, and maybe another $400 in parts to get it running consistently, and a little 43 horsepower, 45-year-old John Deere tractor. I planted all my wheat and all my summer crops with that for probably 8 years. So, I mean, if you do want equipment, you don't have to spend crazy amounts to do it. This is just, kind of a product of where I'm at. But I've done it, the very inexpensive way with equipment, and then like the $40 way with just a crank bag spreader. So if you've got access to equipment, that's great. If not, that doesn't ruin anything. You don't need it. I don't use it everywhere because there's some places where I just can't use it. So don't feel like you gotta go out and spend $30 or $40 or $80,000 on equipment, because you don't need to do that. But you do need to get small deer habitat improvements going, because they make a huge difference. A huge difference. So I guess that's all I gotta say about that. I'm gonna get this field finished up. It really only takes maybe an hour to drill this field, probably not even that long. And I'll go over to another small food plot that I can get the tractor and drill in, and hopefully I've guesstimated right on my quantities of seed. I don't run out, and hopefully I don't have to clean 300 pounds out of the drill, because I hate cleaning out the drill. So thanks for watching, guys. Keep an eye out for more videos on little things you can do to just increase your chances of harvesting really nice deer consistently throughout the year, every year. There's no reason you can't do on your property what I've done on this property. So, Farm Wrestler, thanks for watching. See ya.